Hey up, it's that old Yorkshire geek here, and it's Daisy. It's Wednesday, which means it's Moon Night Day, and it's the final episode of Season 1. It's going to be a Season 2, I've no idea. Spoilers, they kind of leave it open for a Season 2, sort of, I suppose. But anyway, we'll see. This is Episode 6 of Season 1, it's the final one. And on Disney Plus, on my Disney Plus, it didn't have an episode title, it just said Episode 6. So, couldn't be bothered to think of anything. Anyway, so, we'll crack on. Right. So what happened? There's a recap, as usual. But then we see Mark Spector is lying dead. He'd been shot by Arthur Harrow. And he was dead. Obviously, the last episode, we saw him going into the afterlife on the boat with Taweret, the hippo goddess. It was nothing to do with guiding souls to the afterlife. That's Matt, M-A-A-T, sometimes with an apostrophe in between the A's. Yeah, that's Matt that deals with all that. And only pharaohs took boats to the afterlife. So there you go. Regular people went by other means, usually just coffins, that were their way to the afterlife. But whatever, it's just a fantasy, and it doesn't have to be super accurate, I suppose. But anyway, yeah. So we see Mark Spector is lying dead, and Arthur is there. He puts the the compass, the scarab, the golden scarab. He puts that down on Mark's chest for some reason. He doesn't need it anymore because he's found Amit's tomb. So obviously he doesn't need the scarab anymore, so he puts it on Mark's dead body for some reason. We see Layla, she's hiding, she's very distraught, obviously. Mark has got the figurine that, not Mark, Harrow has got the figurine that Mark found. Well, no, it was Stephen that found it, wasn't it? Stephen Grant that found it, but inside Alexander the Great's body. Whatever. So he's got what he came for. So he sods off. Oh, yeah. First, before that, his walking stick goes all magical. I don't know why it goes all weird, and it changes. It used to have like two crocodile heads, one point one way, one point the other, but now it transmogrifies, and it's just got one crocodile head and like an axe head at the other side for some reason. You can see it in the picture that I've put up. Then what? Yes, they all bugger off, the bad guys. That leaves Layla alone with Mark's body. And obviously she's not best pleased. She's quite unhappy. Obviously, you can see in her face, she's plotting revenge, and she gets the scarab, and she thinks, "Oh right." Now, this obviously doesn't point to just Amit's tomb. It must point to where Amit is, because she picks it up and she opens it up or does whatever you do with it, and it floats up and points in a certain direction, and she looks that way. So it's obviously pointing to where Amit's little figurine is. So it's obviously pointing to wherever Amit is. So not just the tomb. So then what happens? Then we go to like a little convoy of trucks, and they're bombing across the desert, and they're going to a road. It's obviously the middle of Egypt. I don't know how far away from Egypt, Cairo it is, because remember we've been to Cairo and seen the Giza pyramids, and they've come out into the middle of the Egyptian desert somewhere. Don't know where it is. It must be a long way away anyway, because later on we see a certain person flying back to Cairo. Anyway, this little convoy of vans and whatever's comes across a roadblock. And there's a roadblock just on one side of the road. I don't know why there isn't a roadblock on the other side of the road. I don't even know why there's a roadblock there. But there's armed guards there. I presume there's some sort of police or militia or whatever. I don't know what they are. But they're there, and they've got Egyptian flags on the uniform. So they're obviously something official. Anyway, they stop the trucks, the little convoy, and they all get out, all the bad guys, and Harrow gets out with his walking stick, and they're all pointing guns at them. And suddenly Arthur is walking, his cane, all glows purple, and he says something along the lines of, you're going to be judged or whatever, or you're all out of balance. I don't know. He says something. I can't remember. I only watched it once. Anyway, all the the souls of these people rise up out of the bodies. Well, the ones that are being judged by Amit, and they all drop down dead. Apart from one fella, Arthur says this is a good man. We don't see what happens to him. But while all this is happening, we see that Layla has it's not exactly hidden herself away amongst the bad guys. She's just there with a mask over her face, and they don't realise that there's an extra person. They mustn't know their own team, because nobody bats an eyelid. Anyway, she's looking at what's going on. There's all these dead guards around. Anyway, a couple of them start talking to her with Tawaret's voice, because remember in the previous episode, Mark asked Tawaret, or Stephen, Stephen or Mark, one of them, asked Tawaret to get word to Layla to free Khonshu from his imprisonment. So this is what Tawaret's doing. She's possessing these bodies of these dead men and telling her to go free Khonshu. So she gets back in the truck. Nobody realises it's her. Nobody's saying, "Who are you?" She's fine. Obviously, there's a passage of time, and we see Harrow at Giza. He's climbing the Great Pyramid with his gang, and he raises his staff, and a doorway opens. All the stones move out the way, and they go inside. Now we see the avatars of the other gods, like Osiris and all that. They're worried that something's going on, and then Arthur and his crew enter this chamber. It's supposed to be, their most holy of places. So they get ready to fight the gods. And all their eyes glow, and Osiris's hands glow. And then we cut away. It doesn't show what goes down. We just see afterwards that they're all, well, more or less, they're all dead. We see that Osiris isn't dead. He must have run away. But we don't see what Arthur did. Anyway, so Arthur Harrow gets the figurine with Amit inside, and he smashes it on the floor, and this purple magical stuff comes out, and smoke. Amit, appears, and we see her. She's, a giant goddess with a crocodile's head, and it's quite impressive CG. I must admit, it does look pretty good. I mean, the picture I've picked there isn't the best, but when you see her moving about, it's pretty impressive, I must admit. Then what happens? Then we see Layla. She's hidden away in the corridors of the Great Pyramid, and she finds Khonshu's figurine, and she breaks it, and he comes out. He appears before her, and he wants to make her his avatar, just like Mark warned her, or Stephen, Mark or Stephen, or both, warned her that he wanted to do. He wanted her as his avatar, and she refuses him. She says no, because Mark don't trust you, Stephen didn't trust you, so she don't trust him. So he basically just goes whatever, and disappears in a puff of smoke, and reappears in the chamber in front of Amit. And to be honest, it looks quite diminutive next to Amit. I mean, he's got his silly. I think it does look silly. His bird skull head. It's supposed to be an ibis or something, or a vulture. So I don't know what it's supposed to be, but this bird skull, and it looks pretty uninspiring next to Amit, who is quite a presence. Anyway, they have then we go to we see Mark in the field of reeds, which is like ancient Egyptian heaven. Is having doubts because he knows that Stephen sacrificed himself. Remember last week, they were getting attacked by zombies on the boat, and Stephen sacrificed himself. He threw himself over the side to get this zombie. and turned into like, a pillar of salt, statue, whatever, in the sands of the desert. And so Mark's feeling guilty about that, and Towerette says, well, there's nothing he can do about it now. He can't go back. Nobody ever goes back. But Mark decides he's going to, so he does. So, like, the doorway opens, and he goes back out, and he's in the desert, and somehow he's just right where Stephen turned into a statue, an effigy, I suppose you could call it. But that also just happens to be right next to the massive doors they must lead out of, the Duat, the ancient Egyptian heaven. They must lead out of it. Or maybe it was both, I don't know, because I don't know. One time it led to the field of reeds, later on it's going to lead, to life. But anyway, so what happens? Mark, he's got his little, remember Towerette pulled out their hearts, and there were little white hearts. It wasn't all gruesome and gory, and he puts his in Stephen's hand, and then, because Mark then starts to, because he's there, he starts turning into an effigy as well. And when he does this, they both, become human again. We come back to normal. Then we cut back to the Great Pyramid Chamber, and Amit's beating the crap out of Khonshu. She's knocking him all over the place. You can see by these pictures, he's not doing well. He's not doing well. So anyway, so then Mark awakens in the tomb of Alexander the Great. His eyes come open, and he gets up, and the bullets fall. There's a little bit of a scene where we see Khonshu again asking him if he's going to be his avatar and protect the people and whatever, justice and all that. And he must accept again, because the bullets, they come out of his body and they land on the stone floor. And then it becomes Moon Knight once again. Finally, we see him Moon Knight. We saw him for about 10 seconds in the last episode. We see him for quite a bit in this one. Thank goodness. So then he goes outside, and there's obviously him coming back to life has pulled Khonshu away from the Great Pyramid. So he saved Khonshu basically from being killed by Amit. But then Mark and Stephen, they seem that they can change now, whenever they want, between personalities. When it's Mark, he looks like Moon Knight. When it's Stephen, he looks like, is it Mr. Knight? I think it's Mr. Knight, isn't it? So that they're saying they're not doing anything until they hash out a deal. Basically, if they help him and get rid of Amit, they want to be released, from being Khonshu's avatar. And Khonshu, I think, he basically agrees. Then we go back to the Great Pyramid, and Layla finds Osiris's avatar. I don't know if he dies. Actually, I can't remember, but he's not doing well. Moon Knight can fly, and he's flying towards Giza. Oh, and then Towerette persuades Layla to become her avatar, and she gets a cool, uniform, a cool suit. And for some reason, she gets wings. I don't know many hippopotamuses with wings, but so she's basically ancient Egyptian falcon. That's basically what she is, isn't she? So there you go. Right. So then what happens? Arthur Harrow goes to the top of the Great Pyramid, and he holds his staff aloft, and it all glows. He calls on all these people that are everywhere to start. It gives them the power to judge, everybody. So they all start grabbing people, and the souls start coming out of the body. It's a bit reminiscent of, the film Life Force, Toby Hooper's Life Force. It's a great film from the 1980s, 1985, about space vampires. And when they didn't drink blood, but they took your life energy. Right, it's called Life Force. And that came out of their bodies and floated around in cool, like special effects. This is a little bit like that, because we see Amit, who suddenly becomes like a big massive kaiju towering above the city, and all the souls are going into her and making her more powerful. So she's become basically Godzilla. Then Moon Knight arrives, and him and Harrow start fighting, and flying about and fighting, because Harrow can fly now, because everybody can fly suddenly. And then Moon Knight appears, and he's a kaiju now as well. He's like 200 feet tall or 500 feet tall or whatever. So him and Amit start fighting again, and he's doing a little bit better this time. Maybe it's because Mark's alive and he's got an avatar, I don't know. But he basically, well, he beats her. He beats Amit, does Moon Knight. Not Moon Knight, Khonshu. But then, while this has been going on, while they've been fighting, Harrow and Moon Knight, Harrow overpowers him basically, and he's beating down Moon Knight, got his glowy wand. But Layla comes to the rescue because, you know, she's stunning and brave, and she saves Moon Knight by knocking Harrow away. So they all have a big fight, and he fires his lasers at her. But, you know, because she's ancient Egyptian falcon now, she can deflect them with her wings. So they've knocked him away for a bit, and so they have a little reunion saying, "Oh, look, brilliant and super ace." And then the team up, and they're going through the acolytes of Harrow. You know, it keeps changing between Mr. Knight and Moon Knight, and as you can see, and this fire, you know, it's throwing like blades and stuff. I presume all these people are dying. They're just killing people, you know. Well, not people, but bad guys. They're killing bad guys left, right, and centre. And they've teamed up. They've teamed up as Layla. I don't know what's her name going to be. Is she going to have a name? We've got Moon Knight. Has she got a name? I don't know. So they've teamed up against Arthur Harrow, Moon Knight, and Layla. And Layla, she gets distracted. She's to save some people. Harrow makes like a minibus tipple over, and she's to go save them. So then it's just Moon Knight and Harrow. Oh, I'm lying. It isn't Moon Knight and Harrow. It's Moon Knight and Layla, and they've got hold of Harrow. But obviously that must be when he does the he distracts them with the threatening to hurt innocent people, and she saves them. And this little girl says, "Are you an Egyptian superhero?" And she says, "I am," because she is. Harrow, does all his magic again with his. I think he's trying to drain the energy from Moon Knight with his magic, and in the background, the big kaiju battle's going on. While all this is, where are the Eternals, and where are the Avengers, and where are all these other superheroes? All this is kicking off. Also, they realise that things are in hand. Unbelievable. Oh, and then the bad guys are shooting at Layla, but they're not shooting, they're just shooting at her wings. Why don't they shoot at the other parts that are not her wings? I don't know. Shoot her hands there, look. But no, they just keep shooting at her wings for some bizarre reason. For quite a while. Oh, but then you think Harrow's starting to get the upper hand again. But then Mark, or Stephen, no, it's Mark in it as Moon Knight, kind of, he blacks out again. He does that thing, and something's happened, and when he comes to, he's got Harrow, and he's got he's got his cane, and he's obviously, I don't know if he's hit him on the head with his axe side, but he hasn't killed him. He's not dead. He hasn't cleaved his skull, but he's obviously defeated him somehow. And obviously, this is the third personality that's done this. There's dead bodies all over the place, and he saved Layla as well. But by the looks of it, and they don't know what's happened. She said what happened, and Stephen doesn't know what happened, and Mark doesn't know what happened. They realise that there must be a third personality, but they don't know who it is. So anyway, Layla takes them. They take Harrow into the Great Pyramid, into the chamber, and they do this ritual that Layla knows about. Maybe Taweret told her, I can't remember. And they've got to put Amit into Harrow. He's going to be Amit's vessel, like the little figurine. Instead of putting her in a figurine, they're putting her in a human body, trapping her in there. Not like she's possessing him, but she's trapped inside him. So that's what they do, and then all that happens, she disappears into Harrow. And then Khonshu appears and he says, you've got to kill Harrow now. If you kill Harrow, you'll kill Amit. If you don't do it, she'll keep killing and he'll keep killing. But Mark says, he says to Khonshu, he says no, basically. He says, if you want to kill him, do it yourself. Because he's gone all goody two-shoes. And then we go, there's like a flash of light or whatever, and he's in the white mental hospital with Dr. Harrow. But Mark realises it's not real. He wakes up and he's in his bed. Is Stephen again, and Mark as well. So Stephen and Mark are now interchangeable. They talk to each other. I don't think they have to look in mirrors. They can just talk to each other. And we're back to square one. He's tying himself to his bedpost. And he ends up on the floor. Basically, that's how it ends. So we're back to square one. We're back to... He thinks he's done with Khonshu. So why is he tying himself to his bed again? I don't know. But he thinks he's done with Khonshu. And then it ends. We get the credits. But then, after the mid-credits scene, we see Harrow in a hospital. Bit of a yellow hospital. Why is it yellow? I don't know. But he knocks over he says it's sand, but a cup full of sand. He says it's sand. When he knocks it over, it looks like tea to me, but looks liquid, but whatever. And a nurse comes, she's going to take him away, but then you see a pair of gloved hands appear, and somebody speaks in Spanish and says he'll take care of him. And the nurse just lets him, this mystery man in a flat cap with black gloves on, just let him wheel away this patient. And obviously, there's loads of other staff about, but then we see a staff member dead in a pool of blood hidden away in a corner. So he takes Harrow outside and he shoves him in a big limousine. Is it a Rolls Royce? I don't know what it is, but it's a big bugger. And he shoves him in there, throws the wheelchair away, and Harrow's inside the limousine, and we see that there's Khonshu there in a suit, reminiscent of Mr. Knight. Don't know why, but he's there, and he says, "Let me introduce you to basically his new avatar," because he says, Khonshu says, Mark and Stephen didn't even realise how broken they were, and he introduced him to the third personality, and it's Jake Lockley, and for some reason he speaks Spanish. Don't know why. Maybe it's in the comics. I don't know, because I haven't read the comics. Is he Spanish? He ain't got a Spanish name, has he? I thought he was a New York cabbie. But he's speaking Spanish. Says, "Today is your turn to lose," as you can see in the picture. And they shoots him a couple of times. So I presume that's Arthur Harrow dead, and Amit dead. And then he drives away in it's a Rolls Royce. The Rolls Royce limo with the SPKTR number plate Spectre. It drives away towards the city. I don't know what city it is. It looks like London, to be honest. Well, judging by that building in the middle there, I don't know what they call it. It's like, I'm sure that's in London. But the name of the hospital's got Sinkovich Psychiatric Hospital main entrance, but that's in English, so it must be in an English-speaking country. Maybe it is London, and maybe Sinkovich means something to comic people. So, and that's it. And then we go to, and that's it. Then that's the end of season 1. Jake Lockley is doing Khonshu's bidding. So there you go. So that's it. That's the end. I didn't hate the final episode. It was a bit underwhelming, to be honest. Although the fights and stuff were entertaining, and the big kaiju battle were, I suppose, it was fun. But I was left a little bit wanting. If it's done and dusted, that's rubbish. It's a rubbish ending because it just leaves everything hanging. If there's a season 2 coming, fair enough. Maybe we'll find out more. But there you go. That's it. So. Yeah, as a season, I wasn't really impressed. I loved the first episode. I thought that was great. But then it kind of went downhill really quickly. But this last episode wasn't too bad. I didn't hate it. It was okay. But the ending is a bit underwhelming. We're back to square one with Stephen and Mark tying himself to his bedpost.
they think they're done with Khonshu, but they're obviously not. Otherwise, he wouldn't be tying himself to his bedpost. We know there's Jake Lockley, who's going around killing people. Doesn't seem to care. And that's it. That's all we know. And he's got a flashy car now from somewhere. But Mark Spector's supposed to be a billionaire in the comics. You know, like Batman. Like Bruce Wayne. I don't know, because as I said, I haven't read it. So anyway, so there you go. So Moon Knight, it were okay. I didn't love it, didn't hate it. It was just there. It was just content to watch on Disney Plus. So we'll leave it there. So until next time, look after each other, and I'll see thee.